Hello and welcome to the American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick. Superior Livestock Auction is in the midst of summer sales season, where consignors and buyers across the nation have the opportunity to market and purchase cattle on the Superior sales held throughout the country. Today we focus on J&J Cattle Company, a brother duo down in South Texas that has created quite a name for themselves. Growing up in the industry, their dad and his brothers raised cattle, running stockers on wheat and grass pasture while farming. Their love and passion for the cattle business was instilled in them at a very early age, and before they could even attend school, J&J Cattle Company was formed. On our show, we'll take an in-depth look into what goes into J&J and how they continue to have success year after year. We've got a great show for you. We're glad you joined us. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
At 44 Farms, we believe work starts at sunup and doesn't stop until sundown. We believe in order to live off the land, you have to love and respect it. We believe that cattle aren't just raised, they're nurtured. And we believe when you do things right, with honesty and integrity, well, things like quality and consistency happen naturally. 44 Farm Steaks, responsibly raised all-natural beef.
Looking for an elite place to market your roping cattle? Would you like to show your stock to potential buyers all across the nation? The leader in livestock marketing is now offering the Superior Horn Cattle Sale on Saturday, September 17th. This will be an excellent opportunity to consign potentials, bred stock, and broke-in ropers. Broadcast live on Superior Click to Bid. For more information and how to consign your cattle, call today at 800-422-2117 or visit superiorlivestock.com.
It's easy to spot the man who uses Synanthic. With lower volume and less waste, Synanthic steps up your deworming routine. Get more deworming with less dewormer at Synanthic.com.
Welcome back to the American Rancher. The cattle industry has always been a part of Justin and Jared's livelihood. As soon as they could walk, they were going to sales with their dad. Growing up in the heart of cattle country, Hereford, Texas, they both have a love and appreciation for the industry. They both attended Texas A&M University, and while they were in school, they found lease pasture where they were able to start preconditioning cattle to pay for their education. Well, it quickly grew into a full-time occupation. They currently purchase cattle at 16 sales throughout Central Texas each week. The vast majority of these cattle are sold individually, which allows them to determine the individual value of each calf. They've spent the past 12 years constantly improving and modifying their operation to fit these lightweight cattle so they're ready to perform throughout all phases of the industry.
As we were growing up, my dad let us buy some lightweight calves that we straightened out and took care of in a barn behind the house, and that's where J&J Cattle Company was born. Justin and I have always had a passion for the cattle industry, and especially the stocker calves and lightweight calves is where we've really focused all of our attention, and we've spent the last 12 years trying to get set up to handle these high-risk calves and to do the best we can to straighten them out and to do the hard work so that somebody else can have a straightened out calf that's ready to go on to any segment of the beef industry, whether it's the feed yard or to grass pasture to a grazing operation or whatever it may be. Almost all the cattle that we purchase are purchased individually, one at a time, through the auction barns, and this allows us to make our decisions on whether or not to buy the animal based on several different factors. Number one is the quality and the kind of the calf. Number two would be his health and how we think he's going to perform, not only for us, but for the next person in line who gets him after us. And lastly is price. You know, we decide which calf we want to buy. We have about 10 seconds while the calf is in the ring to make all these decisions, and we have to decide if he's going to be something that fits our operation and will be something that we can sell and market to somebody who the calf will be beneficial for them later on. So it allows us to put the loads together like we want to instead of being forced to buy a whole load lot at one time.
When we go to the sale, then the cattle are sold individually. Most of them in this area are sold individually, and so it allows us to assess the value of them individually according to weight, price, and kind, or weight, quality, kind, and potential performance and health. When we go into the sale barn, we have the end goal in mind of what we're going to try to market in the end, and so we use that as a guide to help us know what to buy. And we largely end up buying cattle that weigh between 200 and 400 pounds. We're able to take those mismatched calves and bring them back here, and we have enough numbers that we can make a load that is uniform and sell to the customer, and while they're here, manage them appropriately and get them back in a condition where they're ready to perform at top levels for the next customer down the road. We haul almost all of our cattle ourselves, and so we get them out of the sale barns as quickly as possible, and we bring them in the same day that they're purchased, and they're met at our pens with clean water and fresh hay and fresh feed, and they're all held in small pens where they find the water and find the feed quickly. They're held in those pens for 16 to 24 hours before we handle the cattle again. This allows them to rest and have time to recuperate from some of the stress that they've experienced at the sale barns.
At J&J, they believe it's important to monitor each calf individually. Therefore, each calf is given an individual ear tag with a unique number, as well as an EID tag that they use to track them throughout their process. The cowboy crew uses the visual ear tags to identify the cattle in the pastures, while the EID tags are used to track the cattle during sorting and shipping. They use a computer program to track all of their treatments and other events for each individual animal. Technology plays an important role in their process. Each cowboy carries iPads with them as they ride through the pastures to check cattle. This allows them to enter treatments and log events for each calf. With the visual ear tag and use of technology, each calf can be looked up so that a quick decision could be made on a treatment protocol based on that animal's individual history. Keeping intense records on each animal has given J&J a large database of information. This allows them to monitor what treatments and preventative measures are working and make adjustments based on that data. Each time cattle are sorted and shipped, they pass through an EID reader, which automatically scans the cattle and logs them into the computer. This helps manage which calves are shipped and sorted to keep the inventory up to date. Running reports allows them to obtain information such as head counts, purchase weight, end costs, and projected weights for each set of cattle after they've been sorted. They use these reports to set base weights and determine when the cattle are ready to ship.
So it's just grown a lot in the last several years, just like the amount of cattle they run and so the amount of records that we keep. So every day when they buy calves at the sale barns, I get an email from the sale with everything they bought, and I just have to kind of convert that to the format that they need, and they will open that up on their computer at the barn. When they process the cattle, they'll put in their ear tag and their EID number matched up with the back tag from the sale. So we have the purchase weight, the purchase price, all the information about the calf tied to their identification numbers. So they'll do all that, and then when they get in processing, I'll get that file all imported into our software to add those animals. Then every time they sort, ship, when the guys doctor them at the barn, they put that in. They all have their iPads, and they put in all that information whenever they treat an animal. But whenever they sort, so they'll do them through the EID reader, and then I'll get that file of the list of all the calves that went to each different location. And so I'll put that in. When they ship, they run them all through the reader, and so I get the list of every calf that shipped. And so then I have the information of how much they cost when we bought them, how much we fed them, how much medicine they had, how much we got for them, and so we're just able to use all that data to know this is working, this isn't.
We provide such a consistent product year-round, 12 months out of the year, which is lightweight, long-time weaned calves. And so we need more people to know that we have those and always have those, and trust our cattle, trust us, and you know they're willing to come to us whenever they have the need for lightweight weaned calves.
From a young age, Justin and Jared learned to work as a team and realized the importance of hard work and dedication required to be a part of this industry. Those values run deep in their operation and play a huge role in their success today. When we return, we'll hear more about J&J. You're watching The American Rancher. Stay with us.
Healthy cows start with the new hired hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher, leaving more time to tend to other vital tasks on the farm. To learn more, visit cowsprayer.com. The new hired hand makes healthy cows easy.
It's important that the vaccines are handled correctly. You know, a lot of producers, they will go by and they'll buy the vaccine, and if you're in my part of the world, they think a ride on the dash in the middle of July helps it out, okay? But actually it doesn't. I mean, you can actually kill the live virus vaccines, or if you're using kill vaccines, they can alter those adjuvants in there, and when they do that, then things like endotoxin in the vaccines go up, and the vaccines become more reactive, and sometimes they just don't work at all. You know, a lot of times we get calls from producers, well, you know, my vaccine came in warm, or my refrigerator failed. Is that vaccine still good? Well, no, it's not any good. I mean, it fell outside the guidelines that are on the box, so, you know, we consider it adulterated. And is it really worth risking, okay? Is it really worth putting those animals at risk and putting your reputation at risk as a producer to put a product in that might not be any good because it was shipped too warm or stayed out on the dock too long or whatever? So if there's any question about the vaccine, if it was handled correctly in shipment, then, you know, the producer or the veterinarian or whoever should actually call who they bought the vaccine for and express that, and let's get the problem corrected. Those animals are going to be their reputation as they go down the line. I mean, if you're selling on Superior, you say, I did this, okay? And if those animals have troubles, then they're going to come back, and that producer or that buyer may actually come back and say, you know, why did they have these troubles? Or that buyer can say, look, I had trouble with these animals, I don't need to go that trip again. So, you know, it could just skip on over. So those animals are actually becoming your reputation. So you want to do everything within your power to make sure that those animals respond properly to the vaccine, and vaccine handling is critical.
Raising cattle is a family tradition for the Nunley brothers, and today the large cow-calf operation continues to thrive across Texas. Their Santa Gertrudis-based cows crossed with Hereford and Angus make an ideal heterogeneous genetic blend that produces a productive feeder animal along with a superior cow in the pasture. Join the Nunley brothers on September 16th for their One Ranch Raised annual bred heifer sale, offering 600 plus head of the finest Nunley genetics. For more information, visit nunleybrothers.com.
Welcome back to The American Rancher. J&J Cattle Company has proven to be an outstanding program for several reasons. Today, they consign more than 13,000 head of cattle with Superior Livestock, and Superior Representative Greg Godot relates that to their commitment to the industry. Here's more on our story.
I started with Superior back years ago. I don't even know how many years, probably 15 years ago. I was a customer of Superior, and met Rusty Cordova through Superior, selling the prison cattle that he sells a lot of, and he was my rep and was selling several of those loads for me. And then I moved and fortunate enough to buy Navajo livestock auction, and he told me that, hey, they're going to put a rep kind of in your area down here, and I said, no, we're not going to put a rep. I'm going to be the rep if we're going to put a rep down there, because I want to be the one that's kind of be able to control the cull cows or the rest of the cuts or where they go. So Russ got me started years ago, and then
I guess it was about 8-9 years ago. J&J was buying cattle there, and he put a load together and said, hey, I want to try put a load on Superior. So we got everything together and got them filmed, and I guess the rest is history. You can see where it's went from there. What is so unique about their operation? First of all, they're hands-on, and first of all, they have employees, and they have real good employees, but they do it all themselves, and they're willing to do it all themselves. They have employees that do help them, and that will work, but they're hands-on and they're doing it. That's probably the most unique thing and the most successful thing that you know. Hey, we're in America. You work hard, you're gonna get paid off, and that's what they're doing. And but they go to sales and they buy. I'm not going to say they buy an undesirable, not an undesirable calf, but he's a very desirable calf. But the reason he's undesirable is because he's a balling calf and he's a lightweight, he's a high-risk calf. And they take that calf and they bring him here, they background him, they process him, they give him uniform shots, uniform outstanding health program. And then when they get all that done and wean him after 75 days, now you have a load of them that is very desirable to go all over the country and be able to sell those cattle wherever, and to a large audience, and lots of people can identify with those cattle, and lots of people can use those cattle as weaned calves and a straight load of calves. They do, as far as a reputation, well, we have lots of repeat customers, and that's what we're after. They're looking for long-term relationships with customers to be able to sell cattle to. And the way they handle cattle, these cattle are as bulletproof of cattle, and they do as good a job as you can for buying them one at a time and getting them ready for the next level. We're not going to say you're not going to have problems, but because anytime you go from a precondition, there could be some problems. But these cattle here are as bulletproof, and they do as good a job as anybody in the country. We sell them. They have a large inventory of cattle all the time. We usually have on each sale, we usually have from 9 to 10, 11, 12, 13 lots offered on sale, and we usually keep 4 or 5 lots on the country page. And folks that, I mean, we've even forward contracted cattle all the way out into, like we're in the summer, we could forward contract into some wheat pasture cattle. Somebody wanting to get a jump on the market, thinking that it's going to get higher or whatever, they'll come in and they'll try to buy some cattle, and we'll forward contract some cattle. And when they do call in like that, we put those cattle on the country page and run the contract through the country page and through Superior.
We've used Greg's since the beginning. You know, we knew him from buying cattle at his sale barn in Navasota, and we've always had a good relationship with him. He's done a great job at keeping our cattle marketed. You know, the Superior rep really plays an important role in this whole process, especially for somebody like me who doesn't necessarily consider themselves to be a salesman. And you know, I feel like my expertise and my knowledge is here hands-on in the business with the cattle. And so it's nice to have somebody with that expertise that can handle the relations between the potential buyers and transferring the information to Superior that they need, whether it be selling cattle through private treaty through Superior, or on the country page, or just the regular video sales. You know, Superior it really allows us to find and market cattle to people all across the country that otherwise wouldn't even know that our cattle existed. You know, and any time you can increase competition and exposure of the product that you're selling, well, that's a good thing. And you know, if you increase the competition, then you're going to get a fair market price for your cattle in the end.
J&J is an extraordinary outfit in that they fit a piece of the market by taking cattle that come through one at a time and maybe even a little mismanaged, and they put some management into them and put them together for the customers in the industry to grow and develop and to fit what the industry really looks for. So they put more management into the cattle. As how that pertains to us at Merck Animal Health, they're able to utilize products that we produce, but also a lot of the platforms that we were able to create. So we have different tools like Creating Connections, PrimeVac, Beef Market Central. And some of those things help them in developing better management techniques so that these cattle come out productive for the next buyer down the road. J&J continues to be impressive in their improvement in their operation here. They started not too long ago, and they have grown and become an integral part in this area in providing a huge value to the industry, again, in piecing together the cow-calf community to the feed yard community and that transitional calf and getting them to a better state and a better ability to perform down the road in the feed yard, providing a optimal product for the consumer down the road. So they have, their piece of the puzzle has grown, and it'll continue to grow as I see it. They're a very good family operation that continue to provide value, and I'm sure there's a lot more ideas and things that they want to implement that they will going down the road.
Jared and Justin, both real good guys, real selfless men that real good natured and work along beside us, not above us, and I think that's really important and plays an impact also on their success.
I think we use the proper vaccines. I think that checking them every day helps a lot. You know, you get to know the cattle, not just a number, but seeing them, I mean, every day, and you kind of get to know what the calf is supposed to look like, and when he's not looking the same as he does usually, then, you know, it's pretty easy to tell once you get the feel for a set of calves that have been together for a while. And then, you know, and just close management. I mean, we sometimes almost micromanage, but I think it helps with the health, especially, you know, this time of the year and the heat and stuff. And it just, the numbers, you know, that we've done just goes to show you that it does work and it helps. So.
It's two hard-working young men that got out of college, came right here, and if you could see where we started, one load at a time down there in just cattle panels and just doing the best we could to get a load together to where they are now with EID, individual ID, tracking all the cattle, scales under the chutes, all the individual technology, all the guys that are riding around on the four-wheelers checking the cattle have iPads. They're checking, they can look at a number. The technology that they put and the work that they put into this is it's unbelievable how far the watch that they have come. And it's unreal how far that, I mean, to think that, I always joke with the ladies in the office when I call in figures, y'all are just trying to make a bookkeeper out of a cowboy. I mean, I never thought that I'd be carrying an iPad around and I can look at an iPad and look to see what kind of bids we have on the country page or watch the sale on the iPad or wherever we are. And it's just the technology and the industry that the way it's developed, and they're one of the leaders in the industry as far as keeping up with records and how they're doing with their cattle. And it's been a blessing to be a part of them and help them grow, and I'm glad that they're part of the Superior family.
I think there's infinite possibilities. I think Jared and Justin are just so driven to just do the best they can. I mean, just expand as much as they can, and they have, it's just like the work ethic that their dad has taught them, that they've grown up with. Like they can't sit still. They won't stop. I used to ask him, like, when is it gonna be enough calves? Like, don't we have enough calves now? And I've just finally learned to stop asking that because, you know, in their dream now is to grow it where, you know, all of our kids can have a part in it someday. And so, yeah, I think it will continue to just get as big as they want to get it.
J&J Cattle Company has proven that through hard work, forward thinking, and dedication to the industry, you are able to achieve what you set your mind to. This is definitely a one-of-a-kind operation, and we want to thank the families that are part of J&J for allowing us to take an inside look at their program. That's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us. To find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or find us on Facebook. For the entire American Rancher team, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Tune in to the Rural Way of Life on the American Rancher. Go with us as we visit the people and places and follow the stories that make ranching an American lifestyle. It's both the heritage and enterprise of livestock production across our nation each week from the people that do it. Check RFD-TV, the magazine, for times and listings in your area, and visit our website, theamericanrancher.com.